And the management of WASCO says all is being done to make good on the payment promise. While the $4 million in back pay is being sourced through a loan, the managing director, John Joseph, says WASCO is looking to other methods of raising revenue and sustaining it. Among those is an application to the Water Services Commission for an increase in tariff rates.
WASCO has been working on resolving that particular matter as well, and at the moment we have in fact submitted an application to the Commission for review of tariffs. We are also working with our shareholder in restructuring our balance sheet. Yeah? So a lot of these things are happening at the same time. So we are fairly optimistic that we are going to get where we want to go to. Tariff increases are based on costs, are based on return, as well as based on service. If you haven't got the revenues to create that service, then you're never going to be able to achieve it. It requires revenue as well as investment. So it's not just service. Service is the outcome. A tariff increase allows the utility, any utility, to recover its costs, right? It allows the utility to raise financing, yeah? And it allows the utility to attract investment. If your revenue stream doesn't allow for these three things to happen, then the utility will fail. And that is what has been happening to WASCO for decades.
Mr. Joseph says WASCO will also be faced with such situations because the company has been starved of funding for decades. Another challenge for the water company is the John Compton Dam. 2/3 of the facility remains under silt post-Hurricane Thomas, a situation that severely impacts on the supply of water to the north of the island. Cabinet recently approved $3.7 million for a desilting program, but that process, Mr. Joseph explains, will take between 2 to 3 years to complete.
The challenge we have is that desilting needs to take place in the rainy season, as doing it in the dry season compromises the quality of the supply of water that exists. However, what we are doing is mobilizing the equipment that we need to mobilize to actually do the dredging. Because in anticipation of drier than normal dry season, which we have been advised on by the Med Services, we need to have that equipment deployed on the dam in the event that we have a dry season that is particularly severe, that we can then utilize that equipment to get the water out of the dam. Because if we don't have that equipment in place, and we do have a dry season that goes below where we can abstract water, it then becomes an impossible situation. So these funds are going to allow us to be more resilient in terms of a dry season, but not necessarily expand the capacity of the dam, because we can't start desilting until the rainy season.